Is Shocker still going to be a fine champion to play after this rank down ticket fiasco's gone? Probably will be. People are getting banned for their names, as well as a few other things as well. Welcome to the MCN for Wednesday. So we kick off with promo code. So if you've seen yesterday's video that went over this particular situation, I did put in the description a way in which to get it. We're currently seeing a welcome to the Discord promo code, which of course I have already used. Some players have seen that this has been a bit of an issue and haven't been able to apply the code properly. Whether or not that's going to be resolved today, we'll have to really see. But as well, if you don't know how to set up and register your account, I've put a link to a how-to guide which was submitted by Kabam in the Discord in order to help people out that may want to get themselves that lovely little, well, 3 Legends crystals, which aren't great for anybody that is below, well, I'm looking at M, she's pointing at herself saying uncollected or kind of below Cavalier, but I think that it might be below Paragon, but yeah. Next up, slight issue when it comes to I don't know if this is like I don't know if it's like a code or it's just like some kind of like formatting type issue with Gladiator. If you look underneath his abilities, this may have already been resolved. It says MSID UI stat format Glad debuff Durlock. Because yes, this is a current issue at the moment, and yeah, Jax has said, brought it to the team's attention. Thank you for letting us know. So yeah, hopefully this will be rectified when you go into game next and go, well, wonder what Gladiator's going to say with his abilities. It's hopefully going to be normal. And now on to missing features. Well, things that were meant to come into game. As a lot of you know, the Alliance Wars Defense checkbox will go in on April 16th. So it should be live at the point of recording this video. I haven't checked just yet. Whilst I am recording this, it is the 16th. And I can confirm it is in game. Hey, it is right there. But a very good point that was made by Summoner NR. Said will also be the time implementation of leadership being able to better manage Alliance Wars defense, since that was described as the April release notes, but doesn't seem to be available currently. Since is Alliance Wars related, even though different from Apply Persistent Mastery to Alliance Wars Defense, I thought you might be rolling out both at the same time if they are both in a similar Alliance Wars Defense related game code. So will this be coming out on April 16th? As per this post, when it says the most recent patch notes indicate that Alliance officers would be able to auto-clear battle groups if we run less than 3 battle groups for Alliance Wars. Can anyone confirm this? And of course, kind of referencing the April changes. Update to the Alliance Wars persistent placement phase are coming. These improvements address friction points for alliances that typically run less than 3 battle groups. Alliance leadership can now opt in or out auto-clearing defense placements for specific battle groups at end of war, or remove individual placements from battle groups instead of relying on members to remove themselves. Alliance leadership is also now able to toggle between automatic or manual placement for defense or a map above below your current difficulty, which of course I think that's something that's been relevant to a bug that we talked about in the past, and that did get an answer. Kabam Jax did say that's a good call out. I didn't know we had that in our patch notes this month. The feature has been delayed unrelated to the mastery loadouts work. A critical bug was found in the 11th hour, and the team wants to make sure the launch is smooth. I believe they're targeting next season, though the timeline hasn't been set. So I don't know if that's next season being season 14, season 50? Are we in 48 or are we in 50? I can't remember. There's so many right now. I want to say that we're about to enter season 49. I'll just double check now. Season 49, yes, we are getting into 49. So season 50 is when this is likely come into play. For those interested, of course, because it's important for leadership and officers to be able to manage their battle groups effectively and efficiently. Now, on to an interesting poll before we get into the spicy and interesting topic of the show today. And that is Shocker. Of course, a lot of you, I have been reached out by people who said, like, and I've seen comments where people have been like, well, look, am I not ranking Shocker then? Shocker's still an effective champion. It's just a case of like, okay, well, if, I don't know, 9 out of 10 things that he was good at. Now he's good at 8 out of 10. It's kind of like saying, okay, I wanted to use this champion for this interaction of this fight, but then obviously things change, which is the glancing effect. If you haven't seen any of the videos, TLDR, glancing changed. Kabam didn't tell us. Rank down tickets offered, and that's basically it. They only did that because of poor communication, but also, what are people doing with the champion? Is it just the case you ranked him up under the idea of using him for a certain purpose? So the question is anyone going to be using their rank down tickets on Shocker? And the answer is, it's very much kind of like all over the place. I'll rank him down, says 57. I'll leave him as he is, 59. Undecided, say 26. Wow, okay. That's a bit surprising. Now, look, this doesn't represent the entirety of the community, as a lot of us know. Not necessarily the consensus of the forums is what the entirety of the game is experiencing. We've seen that with Summoner's Choice. So yeah, it's very unusual, and I guess it's going to be down to, well, what are you going to use him for? Are you going to use him for all the stuff that you used to use him for? Did you only rank him up for a specific reason, which was the glancing maestro counter effect? And again, that's kind of like interesting. So it's interesting to see, like, Cyborg Ninja says, he never came to mind whenever I was looking for a counter for those matchups. He can't do it now, so I will continue to use him as I normally do. That's good. I'll leave him as is. I wanted to, but I can't, since they're not going to give me back my tier 2 dust. That's a big implication, isn't it? Because of the dust loss for Ascension, it's a bit of an issue. Is anybody on the other side? There we go. I ranked up the 6-star before pulling the 7-star, so I'll be ranking the 6-star down, completely unrelated to nerf. That's interesting. That's a very good, smart way of looking at it. I'm glad we read that. So, Galactic Donut, if you ranked up the 6-star version and you got 7-star, you can, like, get some free resource, because you're like, well, I'll put that into the 7-star version. Obviously, depending if you've ascended and obviously, you know, highly signatured. Well, not highly signatured because you get the signatures back, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. I only have a 6-star rank 4, but I'll probably take him down since he never gets used anyway. Oh, okay. Someone who may... I've done that before. I've ranked up champions and then I just don't use them. Since I got the 7-star after the 6-star, I'll happily recoup the resource there. Again, I think that's another sound way of looking at it. And I'll rank him back up. Level up, baby. That's, again, another kind of savvy way of looking at it, depending on how that ties into the level up event coming in. I only have the 6-star rank 2, but yes, I'll rank down to get back a little amount of ISO. Yeah. I took him to rank 2, but I have never used him. Definitely going to rank him down. I suppose, we haven't really got on, like, I want to find some, like, really kind of, like, profound reasons for it. Because that's the other thing, like, a bit more structure. And here's the thing, your command mark said, I can tell you historically evidence a majority that use them will either rank up a higher rarity of Shocker or just rank down and then re-rank their same Shocker during level up event. This won't be the case for everybody, but is what has happened for majority of champion specific rank down tickets that have gone out in the last, I want to say, 5 years. I've never considered doing that, and maybe that's the kind of the thing. I've always taken the resources and then reinvested them. I probably have leveled up, but I haven't, like, re-ranked the same champion. I've always taken them down and gone a different direction. So I don't know. Interesting. Let's go on to the final story of today. So let's now move on to this band situation. Of course, a lot of you know that, you know, doing a certain name in MCOC, whether or not it's your player name, alliance name, it can be somewhat troubling if you're like, well, does this sort of break terms of service because I've got, like, a bit of a funky name? Maybe. Is it a case that Kabam have recently been a bit more, what seems to be more on it with names? Yes. And it's always funny seeing the excuses for stuff, because you kind of go like, if I choose a name that is a controversial name by creation, And there's loads through history and things that they've done, right? Or you could use an offensive term, but offensive name, not offensive name, but kind of, again, just like a name historically that is not a nice name or is not associated with good things or positive things, then of course that is going to lead to people being banned, which this player found out because they named themselves out of that geezer back in the 1930s and 40s that did some stuff in various places, responsible for a mass amount of genocide. That person. Now, a bit of a TLDR to this is that the player, from what I gather, had their name kind of changed as a result, and they were given a 7-day ban. I think a lot of time you kind of know what you're doing when you put that name. The same way that this particular player, maybe from whatever particular region, country or whatever, if somebody used a similar name in game that was from what was, I don't know, a genocide or something that affected their particular country, I'm sure they would not be happy to see that. And I could think of many associated with it, but it's quite comical, because you kind of go like, if you play with matches, guess what? They're going to strike. The match is going to go on fire. And it's like, you don't stick a hand into a tiger's cage and go, do you know what? I'll just pet this tiger. It's going to bite it. So don't do it. Don't kind of like play around with stuff that you kind of know that you might be in a bit of trouble. So Kabam Jax, of course, saw this. There was many of us, I think, you know what I mean, what we haven't seen this. There's no warnings for having hateful in-game names. We will continue to change them without warning and will ban players who seem insistent on changing them back. You will sit on the sidelines for the next week. Think about what you did. Of course, there are responses from these people, and I'm laughing a bit. It's not really funny, but it's kind of like, I mean, look, ban me forever, and that's it, so that I never return to this game. Why do you dislike the name? Did he personally do something to you or your family? No. I hate to break it to these particular people, because this is the most ill-informed person ever. Like, there's a good chance that some of these people might be related to people that are Jewish, you know. And the less said about that, the better. There's also another situation, and a few others as well, of people that have been banned. Look, is the system that Kabam have got in place for kind of like names a bit over the top? That is debatable. But here's the thing, like, if you choose that name, I will spell it out for people. So, and if this particular person that had that particular name is watching, you chose that name, it's not a historically liked person, it is likely that, yes, you will be banned. The same way, as I said, for any country you are in, me being in Britain, someone being in France, in India, in whatever country, if somebody had a historical figure, someone that had done or committed atrocities or things like that, you know, someone who's murdered, someone who's murdered a lot of people, someone that's kind of like instructed on something that's kind of caused great harm to people, I'll make a game name and I'll name them after that. You need to really assess what you're doing with your life if that's what you're doing. I'm going to be a bit edgy. Good luck to you. If that's what you want to do with your life, I despair. So yeah, if you want to be edgy and do edgy names, hey, that's fine. It's just going to be banned. And that's really it. And we've just got enough time to do arena predictions for Morbius and Kingpin. So I'm going to go with the following for round 1. So I'll go with 38 mil for 6-star Kingpin, 25 mil for the 5-star. I think this will be a low one, judging by some recent arenas with kind of like champions like this. It could be a case you want to put up to 40. It may be less than 38, maybe about 35, but I'll go with 38 as a strong set for Kingpin. Morbius, 6-star, 25 mil. Recent Werewolf by Night arena went that kind of way, so we'll go with that. And then 15 mil for the 5-star version. Good luck. and hopefully get the champion if you're going for in arena. Check out some other content located on screen, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye for now.